The Specter. These creatures are hatred incarnate. They can sense you enjoying your life and they do not like it. These spirits have been prevented from passing on and they resent you specifically for it. The Ouija board isn't going to get you out of an encounter with these vengeful undead. Hey guys, it's Evan here from D4 Dungeon. Welcome to another video. Don't forget, if you want to learn more about leveling up your D&D experience, then start now by subscribing and hitting that bell so that you don't miss a thing. What is a Specter? The monster manual has two, the General Specter and the Poltergeist. A Specter is an angry spirit of a humanoid that's been prevented from passing on to the afterlife. They no longer possess any connection to who or what they used to be, yet are condemned to walk the world forever. They're created when dark and twisted magics are used to end a creature's life, or perhaps when a wraith rips a soul from a still living body. These spirits are beyond redemption. They do not share the ghost's ability to find eternal rest after they've finished whatever business had them tethered to the mortal plane. They're forced to stay behind, and because of this, they feel only hatred and resentment towards the living. A Specter will never cease its attack on a creature until its immortal soul has been destroyed. Living creatures remind the Specter that life is beyond its grasp. The mere sight of a living creature overwhelms the Specter with sorrow and wrath. A Specter will kill quickly and mercilessly, for only depriving others of life can it gain even the slightest bit of satisfaction. Sunlight, being the strongest and most prevalent source of life in the multiverse, is the complete antithesis of what a Specter is, and it hurts them to look upon it. When darkness falls, they'll leave their haunts in search of living creatures. They know that few weapons can hurt them in return. At the first sign of dawn, they will retreat back into the darkness from which they came and remain there until night falls again. The Poltergeist is the alternate type of Specter in the monster manual. This confused, invisible spirit belongs to an individual who has no sense of how he or she died. A poltergeist expresses this rage by hurling creatures and objects around using the power of its shattered psyche. The advantages to the Specter are very similar to those of the other undead that we've discussed so far. They have damage resistances to acid, cold, fire, thunder, lightning, bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing from non-magical weapons. They also have damage immunities to necrotic and poison. Their condition immunities include charmed, exhausted, grappled, paralyzed, petrified, poisoned, prone, restrained, and unconscious. Not to mention, they also have dark vision out to 60 feet. Both the Specter and the Poltergeist have something called incorporeal movement, which means that a Specter or a Poltergeist can move through another creature or object as if they were difficult terrain. However, it will take 1d10 or 5 force damage if it ends its turn inside a creature or an object. The Poltergeist is also invisible, whereas the Specter is not. The only real disadvantage to the Specter and the Poltergeist is their sunlight sensitivity, which means that while they're in sunlight, the Specter and the Poltergeist have disadvantage on attack rolls, as well as wisdom perception checks that rely on sight. The tactics in combat for a Specter are going to be defined by this creature's desire to kill any living creature. It's not really driven by any instincts for personal survival or protection. When a Specter sees or senses the presence of a living creature, it will immediately move in for an attack. It is going to go after the closest target regardless of strength or appearance. These guys like to move around a lot, but also attack relentlessly. Once they've seen a target, they'll go straight in and use their life drain attack action until the target's dead, that target moves into sunlight, or the Specter takes damage from a magical weapon. If it takes damage from one of these sources, it will break off from whichever character caused this damage and instead move to attack a different victim instead. It will try and avoid the source of this damage until all other targets have been dealt with. If it does move away, it will use the disengage action and move to a place of safety within its fly speed. Then it'll swoop down and attack its new target on the next round. If one of these entities is being attacked by ranged weapons, it will make sure to swoop in and engage the combatant in melee, attacking him or her until she's dead. Nothing will ever stop the Specter from attacking. Even a cleric or paladin's channel divinity turn undead feature will only stop this creature for a maximum of 1 minute before it returns to attack. The Poltergeist variant in the monster manual doesn't drain life. It will instead hurl creatures and objects around the room, picking targets at random and not really caring who it hurts. It's going to use its telekinetic thrust ability to pick up and hurl player characters with a strength of 10 or less around the room. This is important because the Poltergeist only has a charisma score of 11, which is also +0. It's going to pick up these small or medium-sized objects, such as small player characters or pieces of furniture, and hurl them against other objects, such as walls, roofs, or floors. If it's just tossed an object around, it will instead go for the forceful slam attack. This type of Specter is enraged by any creature that would dare to use radiant damage or a magical weapon. It will actually target these characters from a distance if possible by hurling objects at them until there are no more objects to hurl. The Poltergeist will also not stop its relentless assault until it's destroyed or until the player characters leave the area that it haunts. To sum these guys up, the Specter and the Poltergeist deserve your player characters' respect. The sadness and anger that now sum up this creature's entire existence is pitiful, but it's also deadly and relentless. If you can manage to create an atmosphere of horror, one of these spirits can truly add to the ambiance. The Poltergeist's invisibility can also be used to start an encounter off slowly. Having it follow the PCs around and move small objects or closed doors and windows can be a great way to lead your player characters into a battle that they feel has been coming for quite some time. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope you were able to learn something about Specters and Poltergeists today, and maybe about how to run an exciting encounter for both yourself and your player characters. Also, don't forget, if you want to learn more about playing or DMing Dungeons & Dragons games, and all kinds of other Dungeons & Dragons related stuff, then start now by hitting that subscribe button so that you don't miss a thing. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next Monster Monday.